Alright guys, the new unit Baili Tusu is finally here. In today's video, we are going to summon for this character, try to get him, try to be lucky as hell, and of course, we are going to test him out. So, before I get started, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button. Let's reach 200 likes for this video, and also subscribe if you're new here. I would really appreciate it. Let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and hop right into the video. Alright, so I have around like 40 tickets and 17,000 X particles. Now, am I going to summon for it? I don't think he has a memory trace. Yeah, I don't think he has his own memory trace. So that's a good thing. We're not going to summon for the memory trace, which is really good because I already have his memory trace. But we're going to go ahead and try to get one copy on our Baili Tusu. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. Plus, when it comes to our 5-star characters, I want more copies on Roar, but that's pretty much it. And I feel like, you know, since I'm summoning for Baili, he is going to replace my Roar and fire team comp, so therefore, and the main priority here is Baili. So let's go ahead and pop these pools. Here we go. Cooking with these Azusa dupes, and this is our guaranteed Baili. There he is, the man himself, Baili Tusu. We lit. So we're gonna go ahead and build this character, and then once I'm done building this character, I'll be right back. All right, so my Baili Tusu is currently S4 L1, and his skills, we have level 6 for both active skills. So I think this is actually pretty good. Of course, it's going to take a lot of stamina in order for me to build him. Plus, I've been focusing on building my Azusa alongside with my Kairos and Scarlet. So the plan is, we're pretty much going to do a Nexus run with Baili because he has some pretty good leader skills. And I think this leader skill right here, learning from mistakes, is very, very important because, you know, since he actually sacrifices HP, this can actually benefit him. It says for every 10% of max HP lost in total, extra damage is increased by 2.5%, 5%, and 7.5%. This effect stacks up to 10 times and lasts for the entire battle. So if you're trying to create a team that's revolved around Baili, I feel like learning from mistakes is very, very important. So we're going to go ahead and do a Nexus run with this character, and I'm pretty much going to fast forward through that, and I'll be right back. All right, so after my Nexus run with Baili Tusu, I was able to get 20 Inspire stacks, and these are pretty much the memory traces I'm using. So I'm using Festive Night, I'm using Born from Ashes. The reason why I'm using Born from Ashes is because I want to get the Inspire stacks. I'm also using Karma. We have Beneath the Deception. This is really good because he's able to summon a Shadow Clone, and that Shadow Clone is pretty much going to receive, you know, crit damage increase. It says right here, crit damage is increased by 20% for each summon belonging to the Echomancer on the field. So the summon being will be able to deal a lot more damage. And then we also have Into the Paper Crane. This right here pretty much increases fire attack crits. And then we also have Shadows of the Alley, which increases Inspire stacks. So this is a pretty solid build. I also have a different build right here. This one isn't too bad, but I will say this one has less main skill. It has like less regular skills, so I'd rather use the other one instead. We're gonna go ahead and put this one on, but we're gonna go ahead and enter this boss fight. This fight is pretty much the event boss, 300%. Now the thing is, I feel like for Baili, what he's very useful for is getting rid of shields. I feel like that's what he's very useful for. He has some single target damage capabilities. Like, I feel like he can deal some pretty solid single target damage, but compared to Scarlet, I don't feel like Baili is, you know, a boss unit. So we're gonna go ahead and use this team right here. We have Freda. We're gonna put a Mo up front alongside with Kairos, and we're also gonna put him up front right here. So the thing I noticed about, you know, Fire Team is that Fire Team, they're not really like, Fire Element is not really a boss type element. That's mostly for like Wind Element, because for Wind Element you have the, you know, you have the wind resistant shred, you have elemental damage increase, which is very good. Look at that, like we got fucking one tapped right there, which is kind of unfortunate. We're gonna go ahead and restart that real quick. That was fucking horrendous. But when it comes to Fire Element, it's mostly like elemental zones, you dealing with like ground enemies. I feel like that's what element is mostly for you dealing with enemy trash mobs and, you know, dealing with enemies who have a lot of shield. Because I feel like that's what Baili is very useful for. So we're going to reorganize this again. I mean, this boss right here, I literally one tap my Freda. Put Mo up here alongside with Baili. Let's put Baili right here. Faros right here. So when he does that attack, we're just going to move them away. Let's do the gather right here. Right. And then I'm just going to do let's do the regeneration. Get some healing in. All right, now we're just going to move our Kairos. Actually, no, let's move our Baili instead. Baili can just come up here. And then, yeah, we're pretty much good here. All right. We're not doing a lot of damage, but you guys see exactly what I'm talking about. Like, when it comes to fire element, no, not really a lot of damage coming from fire element. But if this was like a win team, it would have been a whole different story. So we're going to go ahead and use his attack right here. So you guys can see, you know, the single target damage, you know, not that crazy. It's not that insane. Oh, man, he's going to do that attack again. Oh, we're cooked. Yeah, we're cooked here. Yeah, I feel like for bosses, I mean, this is 300%. 300% is pretty high. But, hopefully this can give you guys a clear idea as to how, you know, this team can perform against bosses. It's not really that effective. And when it comes to skills that reduces fire, I don't think we have a memory trace that can reduce fire element, like that reduces fire resistance. I don't think we have a memory trace that can do that. And that's one of the main reasons why, you know, Azusa is, I feel like Azusa is a game-breaking unit when it comes to bosses because of the wind resistant shred. But look at this right here. You know, not really a lot of damage, man. Not a lot of damage coming from him. So, yeah, it's not really much going on here. So let's just activate this buff again. I just want to get that 200% inspired stack. We're going to go ahead and apply this buff. And let's just activate. Let's just put in another team member here. Let's just say Scarlet, for example. Right, Scarlet, he's not even going to have, you know, Azusa to help buffer. But look at how much damage, you know, Scarlet can already deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, Scarlet is just... she's just a menace. And, you know, just because Baili isn't a boss team doesn't mean that he's trash. No, it's just that he's not built for bosses. I feel like that's like the best way to put it. He's not built for bosses. He's useful in other places. But bosses is just not... that's just not, you know, his cup of tea. He's not built for bosses. He's mostly for, you know, enemies who have a lot of shield. I feel like he's going to be very good for enemies who are going to be very tanky, have a lot of shield. He's going to be very nice when it comes to that. The bosses, I don't really know. So just want to show you guys, you know, his performance against bosses. It's not that great. You know, there's not a lot of skills that can benefit fire element when it comes to bosses. But when you take a look at wind element, you got that wind resistant shred, elemental damage bonus. You have a lot of single target damage. You know, wind element is like, I feel like wind element is the best. Like, wind element team comp is 100% the best team for bosses. But when we exit here, let's come over here to let's go to like a quick, like, let's go to like Skyrift observation, right? Come to Skyrift observation, and let's just use a fire team here. We're gonna put in Baili up here, Faros, Mo, we got a freighter right there. Put Laurel in, Azusa, and a Scarlet. So this is more like you fighting enemy mobs. And I'm pretty sure there are enemies here who are going to have shields. So we're going to see what happens. Now, the thing is, when it comes to airborne enemies, this is one thing I noticed. And I talked about this on my last video. When it comes to airborne enemies, Baili, yes, he can target airborne enemies, but that's only when he uses his ultimate. When he doesn't use his ultimate, like, you can't really target airborne enemies. Like, you guys can see right now, we really can't do anything. So I would have to like swap in. Let me just put, you know, Scarlet in for right now. No, we would have to swap in Scarlet so that she would have to deal with these airborne enemies. So I will say, when you're building your fire team, when you're using fire team, Mo, Kairos, Baili alongside with Freda, you want to put in, you know, an airborne DPS unit like Roar. You know, you can put in Roar. Who else? We got Roar. I'll say another great airborne boss unit was not boss unit, but airborne unit would be Scarlet as well. You want to put in an airborne DPS character so that your fire team, they're just not standing there looking like a bunch of idiots not doing anything. So that's one disadvantage for uh I will say one disadvantage for fire elements that when it comes to airborne enemies, you don't really have a lot of options. I feel like for Baili, yes, he can target airborne enemies, but that's only when you activate his ultimate. When you don't activate his ultimate, he is literally just standing there not doing anything. So you guys can see, I literally cannot target anything. I can't target nobody except for this little bot thing right here. That's pretty much it. I can't really do much. Scarlet is pretty much the one that's doing all the work here, targeting all the airborne enemies. So I will say, if you have a roar, you should definitely put roar as like your backup. Use her as your backup so that just in case there's airborne enemies, you can put roar in and she can deal with them. So right now, we're pretty much just waiting for, okay, now we got his ultimate. So you guys can see, as soon as he activates this ultimate, he's going to be able to target airborne enemies. We're going to activate this. Now, I will say his ultimate is pretty cool. Huge AoE, just good amount of damage. But once he activates his ultimate, you guys see that he now has the ability to target airborne enemies. We're just going to go ahead and come over here, and we're going to target these airborne enemies right here. So yeah, so it really just comes down to you have to wait for his ultimate to activate. Then he can target airborne enemies. So I would still, use another airborne DPS unit while you're waiting for his ultimate to activate. Right. Seems like we're doing pretty well so far though. We can just put this in auto mode. So yeah, that's pretty much, the game plan when it comes to fire element. So we have more right here. So let's use this so we can that. And then Scarlet can go ahead and get rid of these guys right here. And there we go. That's it. So yeah, I feel like that was a great, showcase to show you guys, how Baili can perform when it comes to airborne enemies. It's not consistent. It's not consistent at all. You do have to put in another airborne DPS unit so that, your characters aren't just standing there doing absolutely nothing. So that's pretty much his performance, against bosses, and I will say against, airborne enemies. Now, I'm really trying to look for an enemy who has shield that you guys can really see how well can destroy these shields. All right, so for this battle, we have some enemies who have shields, so I'll be able to show you guys Baili's performance against enemies with shields. We're gonna go ahead and put Mo all the way up here. We're gonna put Fred in the back. Faros, you go here, and then Baili, you go over here. So we're just gonna put this in auto mode, but you guys can see, right? He's really good when it comes to getting rid of shields. Like, it's actually very effective. So I will say, if you're going up against an enemy who has a tanky shield, tanky barrier, Baili is going to be the answer. He is 100% going to be the answer. And you guys might be wondering, since he's sacrificing his HP, is he going to be very squishy? Not really. Not really. The fact that he has a fuck ton of shield, like you guys can see right here how much shield he has, it's insane. And if you're, going through Nexus, you want to make sure that you actually get some skills that can give you barriers. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a skill where if your ally's HP falls below like 50% or 40%, you get extra shield. So, getting skills that can actually increase your survivability would be very nice for Baili. But overall, man, his survivability is good. Like, I thought that him sacrificing HP, you guys can see that barrier right there. I thought that him sacrificing HP would be, a problem, but it really isn't. Like, he has pretty good survivability, so that's actually very nice. Let's go ahead and activate that ultimate. All right, there we go. He has that ultimate right there, and look at that. All airborne enemies are gone. Really, really nice. So now we're just gonna make Kairos use his ultimate right here. He's gonna die here shortly. We have to make sure that we actually fill him up. Let me make sure Freda can act. All right, now Baili, he can actually target airborne enemies, which is really good. Go ahead and do that real quick. So let's just put him right here. Do this. Nice. So once he pops his ultimate, he's like a completely different character. It's insane. All right, can we get some enemies with shields, man? That's what I really want. Enemies with shields. Let's summon these drones so that they can actually target these airborne enemies. Yeah, I will say, out of all the enemies we have in the game, like the enemy types, airborne enemies are absolutely fucking annoying. Because if you don't have a unit that can target them, you're just standing there doing absolutely nothing. It's really, really annoying. Hey, look at this. Let's reposition our Kairos. Like, look at this nonsense, bro. So fucking annoying. Okay, we have an enemy right here with the shield. You guys are gonna see this real quick. I'm gonna move my Baili up here, and look how much shield he's able look how much shield he's able to remove from the enemy. Like, it's insane. So you guys can see the shield right here. We do this skill. Gone. It's insane. Like, his shield removal skill is just crazy as fuck. Like, he has insane shield break. Got that. Honestly, we don't have to worry about these guys. Yeah, we don't have to worry about them. Oh, we got some more airborne enemies. We're gonna put Scarlet in. Actually, no, let's cancel. Because we can probably pop ult here, and he'll be able to get rid of these airborne enemies. All right, there we go. Now we have the ultimate. Let's pop it. This should clear, right? This should clear. There we go. Yo, his ultimate is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, he has a crazy ult. But you guys can see his performance against airborne enemies. It's kind of wonky. I'm not gonna lie, it is wonky. But when it comes to shields, exceptional. Very, very good when it comes to getting rid of shield. So if you're thinking about building hybrid teams where you have, let's say, you have a team where you have Scarlet, Azusa for bosses, and then you would have, let's say, another character. For example, we can say Zoldyvin for the elemental buff, and then you put in Baili. You put in Baili so that, you know, just in case you're fighting a boss, he summons, you know, an enemy that has a lot of shield. You can use Baili to get rid of that shield. So I will say overall, the main use of this character, Baili, shield removal. Like, he's able to remove a lot of shield, which is really good. I will say he is kind of tanky. He really is tanky for real. You guys can see it says shield break and burst, but he is a tanky unit. I mean, since he is a striker, it makes sense. But this guy is tanky, right? He has a lot of shield. Even though he's sacrificing HP, he is still a tanky unit. So I will say Baili, is he a must-have character? Should you summon for him? Not really. I don't think he's a must-have unit. But I feel like when you're in certain situations where you are dealing with enemies who have a lot of shield, Baili is definitely going to help you in those situations. So me personally, I feel like Baili is more of like a situational character, right? He works in specific situations. But overall, you don't really need this guy. You don't really need him. I feel like Scarlet is way more useful due to the fact that she is literally a boss destroyer, and she can target airborne enemies. Like, she's an absolute menace. She can get rid of toxic mist. She's a good unit. Meanwhile, for Baili, it's more like you need him for just, I'll say, one or two things, which is shield break and, let's say, distracting enemies with the shadow clone. But that's pretty much it. Overall, this unit, pretty good. Pretty solid character. Has a lot of AoE damage, especially for his ultimate. But yeah, overall, Baili is a pretty decent unit at best. Like, if I were to scale him from 1 to 10, I would give this unit like a solid, I would give him like a solid 6 or a 7 out of 10. Meanwhile, for Scarlet, she's like a 9 out of 10. She's fucking amazing. But that's pretty much it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think Baili is a must-have unit, or is he more of like a situational character that you're gonna use, you know, once in a while if you're dealing with enemies who have a lot of shield? Let me know. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.